there's no words can explain how it feels to know that your dad's dead and there's nothing you can do about it, basically. So, and my brother was just in pieces, absolute pieces.
So did your brother keep doing while you were?
No, he stopped.
Your brother did stop.
And he came through beside me to hug, and we just basically really waiting. And then I managed to get myself together and phone my husband, and then my brother phoned my other brother. So we were trying to get everybody to come along, which was good, because we needed the support. And then, to be honest, it's just like, it's a whirlwind. I feel the paramedics arrived, they came in, they shut the door, we didn't know what was happening, they were working on Dad in the bedroom. It's just like, your expectation was that they were going to come and see he was okay, basically, to be honest, so it still wasn't realisation. And then they called for, I can't remember what they call them, but is it Medic Ones, I think, with more equipment, and because they still had a reading, so they were still wanting to work on them. So they called for them to come, then they arrived. So that was like in a tiny wee flat. It felt so claustrophobic by then. All these people, then the police, once they realised that Dad had died, then the lady that came, like, I think she's like a support person from the police, and she told us all about what was going to happen next.
So the paramedics came and they did CPR on your dad?
Yeah.
And then another team arrived, kept doing CPR, but then all this time you didn't really know what was going on?
Nothing.
So what was the first you heard?
The first ambulance, a really friendly man just came out and said that he was so sorry, but sorry, okay. Dad had passed. And that was the first we were told. So, and then that was when the realisation came. But to be honest, the grief and the feeling of, like, when I collapsed on the floor when it first started, that was all gone by then, because everybody was there and my husband was there, and obviously we were upset, but I just felt that was it, he's dead, you know, that was it. And then they went away back in and shut the door, and it was always this shut door in a tiny wee flat. It was just, and then all these people kept coming in. It was just so close. It was actually surreal, to be honest. The police didn't hang around. They eventually went away once, you know, that they knew that Dad had died, and there was nothing sinister, really, to be honest. And then this lady took us through what would happen next, forms, where to go for funeral, and, you know, like what would happen with Dad now and stuff.
So she gave you the sort of practical advice that you did.
But again, because I was the oldest, and my younger brother's not really good at that stuff, and my middle brother David, that had been in the flat, he was quite drunk and just wasn't taking it in. So they came to me, and I was the contact for it, for everything. But luckily I had John, my husband, because without him I don't think I would have got through it. Then it was time for Dad to go. They said we could go in and see him if we wanted to. And I don't know why, to this day, that I went in, but I did. But it was the best thing I ever did, because Dad and I were really close, and I just gave him a kiss and said goodbye, basically. Still not believing that he was gone, you know.